What's up, everybody? Happy F-It Friday. For those of you who don't know what F-It Friday is, I don't do F-It Fridays normally, but hey, I'm not even going to do it right. Anyways, F-It Friday is supposed to be where you blend two beers and you display the separation. Well, I'm lazy and I'm also cheap, and you're going to find out why. So, I went to World Market because I always end up in World Market from time to time, and they have a great selection of beer, by the way, especially foreign beers. And I picked up this Mississippi Mud. And yeah, so it's a black and tan porter and pilsner mixed. Now, this beer, man, let me see if I can find the ABV on this, because I found it before, I think. Okay, I can't find it on here. I believe it was like 4%. It was a real light ABV on this beer, and it's brewed by Mississippi Brewing Company in Utica, New York. Mississippi Brewing Company in New York. That's just weird. Anyways, I was saying I'm cheap because I paid like $4 for this big freaking bottle. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a pour and give it a taste, and then we can talk about some other things over at it, I guess. I don't know if this is gonna be good or not. It's a porter and pilsner, so yeah, usually I think of Guinness and Bass Ale when you do a half and half, but anyways, let's give this a pour. Cool thing is, has a little screw on top. Save some for later, right? I don't know if I want to save any for later, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool little bottle. I definitely want to keep the bottle, man. The bottle's cool. I think I could probably even bottle condition in this if I screw it tight enough. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, let's give this zero head. A little bit of carbonation bubbles there. I don't know if y'all can see that. It just smells like a pilsner, really. I don't know. It doesn't smell terribly appetizing. So let's see what it tastes like, huh? I gotta do that again. Sorry. Alright, you're gonna laugh. It's not terrible, but it's definitely a very unexpected flavor, completely unexpected. I mean, it's like it's kind of tobacco-y on the back. When I say tobacco, like cigarette tobacco-y, ashy, tasty. I don't know if that's the two beers coming together and mixing. Heavy carbonation, super, just tickles all over the tongue. Get a tickle sting all over the tongue. Real heavy carbonation, really. It definitely tastes like a blended beer. I could taste the porter really coming through on the back end, which is kind of giving me that like weird roasty, what I was describing as a tobacco-y flavor. It's kind of roasty, but I don't know, there's just something about it in the back end. I don't know. It's very sessionable. You can tell it's a sessionable beer. The body's real light on it. No separation, because I cheat, right? Maybe I'll do more F-It Friday videos, I don't know. But anyways, I want to touch on a couple of things real quick. I posted that Catalyst Fermenter unboxing video, and I got quite a bit of responses on that thing, and a lot of subscribers off of that video. Thumbs up for that, man. Keep thumbs up and keep commenting. I love comments, negative and positive. I like to see them all. And also I just love having new subscribers, new people to the channel. So welcome to the channel. Hope you stick around. I see people come and go all the time, but man, definitely a growing audience, and I appreciate your time and even watching my videos. But to get to it, there were some questions about this catalyst. In the video, you know, when I opened the valve, big old bubble came up and people freaked out. It freaked everybody out. Well, during the initial fermentation, which I am going to do a video of, you know, using it as a fermenter, of course. I will have some videos on that. But when you're initially fermenting, that valve is going to be open anyways, and you're already going to have that sanitized jar on there. You're going to have the whole thing sanitized in a jar already on there. So you're already going to have the butterfly valve open. So your fermentation will take place, and then all that yeast and trub and proteins will all settle down in that jar, and you'll close it, of course, and you'll take the jar off, discard it, whatever you want to do with it, put a smaller jar on there. I bought a case of these small jars, and the smaller the jar, the less air you have in that jar. I've seen people commenting using carbonate, CO2, purge with CO2, then screw on real quick. I really don't think it's going to introduce enough of that oxygen in there to matter, guys. You got to think, after your primary fermentation, you're going to have a ton of CO2 in that beer, just from the sugars being consumed by the yeast. And you open that valve and you get a little blurp. I mean, the CO2 is you're going to disturb the CO2 anyway, so it's going to be pushing CO2 out that airlock. So I don't really see that. I really just don't see it oxidizing the beer the way people are freaking out about. Also, the smaller jar, you can, after you're done with your secondary clearing stage, you can close the valve, pop that jar off, and then you have a nice yeast sample that you can repitch in another brew. So you're saving money on yeast as well, as long as you're using beers that use that same yeast strain. And let's be honest, you can get away with fermenting most beers with a US-05. The only thing is, it's not going to contribute to some of the flavor profiles like in a Belgian or a Hefeweizen. You're going to lose some of those characters, but you can still make beer with it. I mean, if you're just wanting to get something done. So, but the point is, the cool thing about it is you can have all these yeast samples in your fridge and just put, labels on them, and when you're ready to pitch your yeast, you can warm the jar up, screw it onto the bottom, open up to introduce the yeast to your fermenter. Or you can pour the yeast into your trub jar, and then have that big jar on there, and it'll mix and start fermenting. So anyways, another complaint, or one guy in particular, Pliny, I forgot your name, I'm sorry, dude. Pliny something. Yeah, he went back and forth with Craft and Brew in my comments, but Thermowell. Thermowells. I have never used a Thermowell. I said in the unboxing video that there's probably about 3-degree variation between the outside temp and the inside temp. Even flies like beer, apparently. Get away. The outside temp and the inside temp is only like a 3-degree variation between the two, really? I mean, if you put a temperature strip on the outside, you could probably figure the beer is about 3 degrees warmer on the inside. So if you just absolutely have to have a Thermowell, I've always seen them drilled in the side, but apparently you put them through the lids too, and monitor your temperature that way. This fucking fly, man. I'm in his territory, I'm outside. But anyways, a Thermowell, if you want to use a Thermowell, you could probably just use a circular drill saw piece, drill it out, put your bung in, put your Thermowell through, however that works, I'm not sure. I have not shopped Thermowells, and I probably never will. All my beers have come out pretty pretty spot on. At least I think they've been pretty spot on, and I've never had anybody really complain. The only problems I've had is when I'm bottle conditioning with carbonation profiles. But if carbonation profile is the worst of my worries, then whatever. But as long as you make sure that everything the beer touches after it's fermented is, or before it's fermented, it's like, actually this beer's pretty good. Hang on a second. As long as everything that the wort touches when it's cooled is sanitized, at least you know you're not going to get an infection. Yeah, I mean, just keep everything sanitized, keep everything free of infection, and temperature control. Just control the temperature, and you don't need a thermal well to control your temperature or to monitor your temperature. A sticky strip on there will work just fine. Just know that depending on the thickness of the fermenter you're using or whatever, you're going to have to figure out what that degree variation is between the outside temperature and the inside temperature of the container. Not only that, but when you ferment a beer, the yeast itself generates its own heat. So you're going to have a spike in temperature just from the yeast doing its thing, so you're going to have to really monitor that. So I didn't want this to be long-winded, and it kind of went that way, but I am going to post some other videos of the fermentation process with the Catalyst fermentation system. And I'm planning on brewing this weekend. It's Friday now, so sometime this weekend, and I took Monday and Tuesday off. So yeah, we will get some beer in that fermenter, and we will figure out how well it performs, or if it leaks or anything. Another thing I'm planning on doing, and I made video, is I'm going to build this. The Catalyst fermenter does fit inside my cool brewing bag, but doesn't leave any room at the top for a airlock. So I was either going to have to run like a tube in there at a bung, and a tube inside the bung, and then into a jar of sanitizer outside the fermenter bag. Or, it's really carbonated, I'm sorry, burping a lot here. Or I build like a foam box that I can just put over the fermenter, and then have my cold ice bottles in there to keep things cold. I don't have a fermentation fridge, and I don't really have a place for one at this moment. I am planning on doing a Keyser build, so maybe I'll even video that when I do that. But anyways, guys, this beer for $4, I'd get it again. It wasn't very. This thing's huge. It's a freaking growler, man. 32 ounce. Yeah, 32 ounce growler. $4. It's not terrible, and it's very sessionable, not terrible, and it's only $4. And the bottle's cool. Makes me want to like play some like bluegrass or some old blow on of. Now I'm just being stupid. I had a red ale before this beer, so I'm starting to feel that. And I guess this is contributing to it a little bit. $4, not too terrible. That tobacco-y, ashy taste in the back end has kind of went away. It's guess as it warms up, it's not as bad. So yeah, now I'm just rambling. So be on the lookout for some fermentation videos, and me demonstrating, you know, swapping out the jars and everything. I plan on covering this thing 100%. I'm hoping it works out because I paid a hefty penny for it. $200 after shipping. Oh, it was $190 after shipping and everything. So if you're gonna buy it, if this thing performs well, I'm gonna buy a second one for sure. If it performs well, I'm totally gonna buy a second one. That way I can have two brews fermenting next to each other, like in their own little ice foam boxes, fermentation chambers, whatever you want to call them. So anyways, guys, thanks for your subscriptions, thanks for your thumbs up, and if you thumbs me down, shit happens. But cheers, and we'll see you soon, guys.